Hey everyone, Steven the Salon Guy here, and today we're going to be discussing the best undercut haircuts and why I think they are still amazing. Yes, I've done many videos about them, but it's still a popular haircut, and I want to go over my opinion on some really good ones. Literally, I just went on to Google and I typed in undercut haircut, and I want to break down a bunch that I'm seeing here. So this is pretty much the traditional type of undercut that, you know, first started becoming somewhat viral a number of years ago. And literally, it could either be like a number one all the way up to here and underneath, or like this, it could be faded up, right? It could be like a zero guard and faded up into here. An undercut really is a disconnected haircut. That's really what it comes down to. When someone says, oh, what's a disconnected undercut, right? They're all disconnected. I've even done videos where it's like a blended disconnected undercut, but really what's blended is like this. This is blended, but it's still disconnected on top. Some, however, right, some undercuts, however, have been somewhat blended. Like, let's take a look at this one right here, to where you can see in this, it's disconnected and then it starts to blend in through this back part area. So that's kind of a, you know, connected undercut or so. I think this is the same individual, but you can see in through here, it's undercut, and then it's slightly blended right in through here. So that is an option. Here's an option of another, again, very traditional type of undercut. This could be a skin fade, but the key is finding the line where it's disconnected in through here. Now, this may be too high, or sometimes it's too low, right? If it's not high enough, or if it's too low, you're gonna come across issues. Here's another example. The thing that's great about this is that his hairline hasn't been affected, so no edge ups or line ups on a haircut that doesn't really need that or call for that type of look for this haircut. But again, this is a very traditional undercut, where the top is long and all the sides and back are buzzed. This is another kind of classic one where it's extreme, right? You get the hard part in through here, but all this is gone, and this kind of is an overlay on top. Here is another interesting haircut where it's a very hard part. Yes, it's an undercut, or it's a disconnected haircut because this is not connected to this whatsoever. So all the hair under this, if you brought this down, it would go to here, and he would technically have an undercut. Right? So an undercut is something that is just getting rid of all of the hair underneath, like this, right? These are all nice fades in through here, and then the top is a lot longer. This is one where, you know, you could either push it to one side, you can have a part in the middle, but the thing about an undercut that is not connected at all, that means that the back of your hair, right, may end up looking like this, where there's nothing. Like there's nothing to really blend in, right? It's its own kind of piece. So here's another one. All right, here's another one. This is kind of exactly what I was just talking about, where this has no option but to hang over, right? All the hair on top just hangs over. Here, however, is a bit high because compared to his hairline and through here, right? So that's my personal opinion, but you know, you have to make sure everything is balanced. Because if you were to continue this line all the way into here, you then have to buzz this guy's hairline. So you want to really keep, you know, this is actually a pretty good example of trying to work with the natural separation of where the hair splits. That's a pretty good example. Here's another one where the hair naturally splits right here. And you can see it's a little bit lower, so it's more in line with where the hair wants to naturally part. All right? Here's another one. This is something that you may have done where this is cut really short back here and choppy, very choppy, but you have no other option unless you're blending or leaving his hair in, but to leave that there. So if you're in a situation where your hair looks like this, you got to just keep growing it and growing it and growing it, and it may end up looking something like this. So you see how this is really long, and it all comes down to a point. That's literally because all this hair comes down to about right here. Here's another one, right? This is all disconnected in through here, even though it looks somewhat blended, it's not. Here is Again, this is the one we kind of showed before. Here's one where, a good example, where it is blended in through here. So it's undercut, 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 and then it's blended. This is another one, where it's all blended here, but it's all undercut and disconnected in through here. So it's good to see the different variations of the haircuts to where another one, it's disconnected, and then all of this works back in through here. So it really depends on the type of look that you want. You know, this is what you can end up looking like if you just have a straight up undercut, and you may or may not like that. Here's another example where it's blended. Another example where it's blended. So I'm happy to be seeing these. So you really have an option where you can blend all this, or you buzz what's underneath. Again, I just suggest that this all has to kind of match up, right? All has to be very, very balanced, because this part here really has to work in sync with what's happening over here, all right? Like this is a good example of, yeah, this is all shaved underneath here, went right to the corner of the hairline, buzz all this underneath, and then this just kind of overhangs the top, all right? So really, you know, an undercut is, this is the classic, you know, Brad Pitt Fury haircut. Here we go. This is something that I've done many years ago, and he's actually a really great guy. But I work with him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I actually did it. You can watch it, the undercut I gave him. It may not be this one, but I did give him an undercut where I faded it into here. Josh Mario John. Just look up Josh Mario John, the salon guy, and you'll see. And I did when I was working with Hans Afuko many years ago, I got Josh to help come down and do a video with us, and you could see me cutting his hair. So I did a very traditional undercut on him, which was really awesome. But yeah, I mean, even here's Miley Cyrus. You know, she had an awesome undercut. So it doesn't matter. Anyone can have an undercut haircut. It just really depends on you and how you want to style it. You know, I mean, this is kind of it's blended actually, but this part right here is a little bit longer. That's a really beautiful haircut. So yeah, I mean, anyone can have an undercut, right? There's a whole bunch of different variations. All right, she looks amazing with it, right? So yeah, it's an awesome haircut. So let me know in the comments below if you have an undercut, if you're still rocking an undercut, if you found this video helpful. But I think these are some great ones, and I just want to kind of break them down to you. You always, the last part of advice is for these things is you always want to make sure that the front here, this front part is always the longest point. This in through here is the longest point, or else it will not be balanced right, and it will just not lay properly. You have to have this hair in the front the longest all the time. So let me know if you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.